This is an important question. The original IP Snowflake, I'm sorry, the original P Snowflake. Had you gotten your citizenship yet? And the answer is no, but we're working on it. So she came here. We got filed with an immigration attorney right away. And then it took, what was it, was it more than a year? It was when we finally went to the interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little over a year. Then we went down to the courthouse in Van Nuys and had a chance to talk with, who would that be? Immigration office there. And we'd been together for about a year and a half, and we'd been married for 13 months or something. And we're sitting out here, and we go into this room, and tiny little kind of a cubby hole, and there's this guy behind the table, and I sit down, and she sits down, and I was a nervous wreck. And I'm sorry about that. I was out of control, crazy nervous that day. But it occurred to me that that this bureaucrat had complete control over our lives, and he said something, and I remember at the time it took my breath away, and for some reason I had the sense to not start a giant monologue then. I waited till afterwards because but this guy said after, we're showing all the pictures, and Natasha kept every 10,000 photographs of us together and all the airline tickets and all the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we went into this office, and the guy's interviewing us, trying to make sure it's a real marriage, and because there's a lot of American men just marry Russian women. It's a mystery. Why would you go to Russia to find women? But anyway, so we sat in this office, and I knew that the guy was looking for fake marriages for money so that somebody could get a green card, and I knew that, and I knew it was his job, and I knew he'd done this hundreds of thousands, probably thousands of times, and so on that level, I kept telling myself not to worry. But at the same time, this guy had that power, and what he said really, really freaked me out. He said, "Well, I've decided to approve your application for resident alien status."
Bill was so amazed that just one guy could make decision about our destinies to be together. He was just
and I I remember thinking, what is it that bothers me about this so much? And then I realized it was just how arbitrary it was. The guy said, "I've decided to approve this thing." And afterwards, I remember walking out to the car. Like I said, I don't know why I didn't say it to his face. You would have been sent back to Russia, and I would have been sent to Antarctica or something. Then I would have had a lot of swimming to do. But we, he said, "I decided to approve this." And only after I got out of the room and we're in the car, I remember thinking, why does this bother me so much? And then I realized it bothers me because it's not up to him. It shouldn't be up to him. And it's not supposed to be up to him. He needs to see certain documents, certain evidence, and so on. We presented that evidence, and there should not have been anything like, "I've decided." It's like, yes, you have all of your papers are in order, and here's a record of bills and common addresses, and here's that. You've definitely satisfied the requirements needed by the office, and therefore there you are. But anyway, so she got her resident alien card, otherwise known as a green card, and it's a provisional card for 2 years, and then in next February we go back. And then that's going to be the hard part, because that's going to be the one that's going to be really. We're going to have to prove that we've been married for 2 years, that we know each other.
I don't know.
We're just going to have to spend the 2 weeks before just studying like crazy, just like cramming
about each other.
Yeah, What's her name again? I know you have a daughter, and her name is oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Is her
You
daughter?
will learn it just before, okay? You promise?
I promise I'll study it.
Okay.
So we got to go back and convince him that we're still married and that she's not a drain on the country's treasury. Imagine, and then the green card. Joking, needless to say about that interview. That interview is a slam dunk. Once that guy said, "I've decided to approve your application," I could breathe again because I'm not kidding. They know it, you know it, I know it. If he'd said sorry, then it's like, well, we'll be doing the Stratosphere Lounge coming to you from Moscow for the foreseeable future. So I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. Moved to Russia or Bermuda, or if they hadn't approved it in California, we may even have decided to move to the United States and gone to America if we wanted to. But anyway, that didn't happen. So in another 10 months or so, we go back, we sail through that interview, and then from that point, I think she can become a citizen about a year after that, I want to say. So
2 years more?
about 1 year from February.
Mm-hmm. I have to stand it? 2 years more?
Honey, we'll talk about this later.
Okay.
And you know, of course, the tough thing for her is, you know, the citizenship test is tough. You got to know all about the government and politics and how it works, and who are we going to get to teach you things like, this is the House of Representatives and here's the Senate, and you know.
I don't know where to find this
You'd better get
He's just like,
100% on this test, Rose. I'm
you
going to
have
make
to find
I'm
out.
going to make you take it again if you don't get a perfect score.
like the big professor, you know, who knows the history.
And this isn't news to people, but you're going to pass that test, and I bet you. Does anybody know? I wouldn't be surprised if somebody figured it out. Does anybody know or can? Oh, Aesop, you're fired. You said Clavin can teach you.
Oh, really? Okay, I will think about it.
No, you won't.
Maybe I will
I
owe
don't
him
know. Oh no, I
few
don't know.
photo shoots.
I don't think so.
or-
No, I don't think that's. I don't think so either. What the heck was I saying? This happens all the time. It'll come back to me. What the hell were we just talking about, honey?
Yeah.
You don't remember either. It's
There
just
are-
gibberish. Just blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, just read other questions.
We're talking about the citizenship thing. Oh, and one of the things is we were hoping to go and visit Russia, and we're planning on that, and Natasha was a little worried about it, and I was a little worried about it, so we I called the immigration attorney. And I said, and this is before she even had the green card. By the way, you'll be relieved to know that once if you decide to become, and this is good news for you coming from Lithuania as well, you'll be relieved to know that many months before your resident alien status card arrives, your IRS tax number appears. That comes almost within a month of filing the paper. The first thing you get is, here is your right to work card, and this is your tax ID number. So you can start paying taxes into the country before you even get the resident alien status thing. Look at the look on her face. She's got that 1,000-yard stare. Of all the things that you've told me about this country that really just made me go, oh my God, you know, you're absolutely right, is we were talking about, socialism and Soviet times, and you would say, well, you know, at least in the Soviet Union, you got free college, you got free health care. And I said, honey, it's not free, it's prepaid, blah, blah, blah. But then she said, okay, but so they would tax us, and they would take maybe 20% if we were high enough on the income scale. This is after the Soviet Union went down. Mm-hmm. So they would take maybe 20%, but then that included college and healthcare and apartments, and all of this stuff was just basically given to you. And my whole argument about how they took it in advance and, took all your, your work and life away from you. It's like, wait a minute. She's right. They took 20% and gave them everything. And these bastards take 50%. We have the worst schools and the worst roads and the worst. It's just enough to make you want to cry. Just make you want to cry.
Anyway, it's the better country. It's the best country. Still better country.
And
from all of the world to live. Yeah.
And you get to see very stupid people trying to turn this place into what the Soviet Union used to be. And it's not easy for me to watch the trajectory of my country kind of going down and the trajectory of Russia kind of coming up in terms of, standard of living. And I thought, I knew that the Cold War image of Moscow was way old-fashioned. But when I met Natasha and she started showing me pictures of Moscow, it's like every single car in the street of Moscow it's like a Bentley, it's a Mercedes, it's spotless, it's gorgeous, it's like all lit up, it's like Disneyland.
That's true. And my president, he loves country, but I'm not sure he loves people. So he loves people, but that he put a lot of money and power that he has for the future. So the young people live better than before, and he pay for new children.
Yeah, they it's in Russia. You get paid. Was it $10,000, $15,000?
10,000,
They
but
pay
for second child.
For your second child, and every child after the first one, you get $10,000 from the government. So since the birth rate is falling in Russia, instead of importing people from Antarctica, as you say, Asia, South America, whatever. Instead of importing more Russians, they decided to pay to actually build new Russians from actual Russians.
And women, they have a salary, sitting at home and take care of the children till 3.
3-year maternity.
Yeah,
pay.
they have a real salary. Yeah, and we have so many children now. We have so many young people, and it's a future in front of them. And they go to sports, they go to college, they go to universities. That's a big difference now.
And here, at least in California, not so many kids, and this was a surprise for me too, but when we go out on the town, we go out to a restaurant or dinner or something, we see old people.
Yeah. This is strange for me. Any advertising on the TV and anything I see, it's people older 50. And in Russia, it's how we say age sense when it's censura, this word.
Ism, like ageism, you don't see old people in Russia.
So yeah, if you're 35, if you're 40, you're just out of the life, especially if you're a woman. And here, people much more free, and even if you, 50, 55, 70, 90, you're welcome to go and to learn new things, and people will admire. Nobody will laugh at you. Even if you, in a wheelchair, you are welcome, and everybody will applaud you because you are somebody who go through your, not moral, but when you're afraid of, to do some things, they just give you support, and that's make me happy here because it's more human here. Yes, more human attitude to people, how to say. Yeah.
I didn't tell her, but I'm actually fooling around with a UCLA student on the side. I got this college girl that I. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah. You mean this movie? I know?
Yeah, I've got this. I'm actually secretly seeing this college student at UCLA who's studying cinematography. What can I say? Yeah, look, this is going to be 60 in 3 days. 60.
It's not possible.
Let's do some questions from Facebook that people have stacked up, and we have a definite out at about 7:30 or 7:40, which isn't much time left, because our friend Little Bean is in the veterinarian hospital. He's diabetic, and they're doing the final kind of blood sugar run up to figure out how much insulin he needs twice a day. That cat was a rescue cat, and he had been in a house full of like 9 or 10 other cats, and so he when the food goes down, man, he goes right after it. But he's very he doesn't like if you try to give him a shot, he fights and tear big chunks out of your skin. And we were having and the more we did it, the more he started to fight it, because he could see it coming and he just hated it. But because he's such a greedy little devil, now we figured out, we put some of these special treats out on the top of this little desk thing, and he starts chowing down on the special treats. And then when you give him the shot, it's just like, hurry up, so I can get back to my special treats.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we got to go pick him up, and that place closes at 8, and we don't want, and I'm not going to leave him there.
What
So
time is it now?
it's about 10 after 7, so we can do another 20 minutes, 30 probably, and still have plenty of room. Anyway,
Susan.
we're going to go look at the Facebook questions here, which I'm going to move over here. See all the amazing juggling and things that I have to do, and no producer, no nothing. I got nothing. All right, so here we go. Stratosphere Lounge Special Edition, the Natasha thing. We're going to go through these as fast as we can, because I know a lot of people had questions, and maybe, who knows, maybe we can talk her into coming back sometime. She's starting to get that glazed over look. This is the way it always gets to be at my house when I start talking. It's like, Stalingrad, Washington, Nancy Pelosi. Next thing is like, huh?
Yeah, because I have to read it and translate some.
This is going to come as a shock, but and apparently Scott just got there and just said hi. I was just explaining, Scott, that she had I'd been talking for a little bit, and her eyes had glazed over, and I suppose this is as good a time as any to let you guys know that every now and then I go on a little longer maybe than I should. It's like every couple of months or something, maybe I'll just say a little more than I really needed to.
I guess.
Yeah. Look, you can see the lights going out. Just kind of, now she's going to start doing this kind of. Next thing she's going to do is she's going to do that thing where you yawn, but don't show that you're yawning. So watch, she'll do something like this very soon. She'll go.
Just because I'm
And then
too emotional.
Then her eyes glaze over. Okay.